Hello, if you are just joining me, thank you so much for reaching out to me and connecting with me this morning. I'm having some technical issues, so definitely bear with me this morning as we are getting started. I have this whole new setup and we are trying to get it together over here, but super excited to be with you on Saturday morning live. I thought we were in like behind scenes studios for a moment, so we were checking connections if you caught the first half of that or the first portion of that, but needless to say, we're here, I'm here, you're here, and that is all that matters. Thank you for joining me on Saturday with Miss J. And I wanted to just welcome you to the second part of the series, which is on site. The first side of the series was on paper. And if you did not watch that, I want you to go on and watch that replay. Make sure you share it with all of your network that may be looking for a job or in the job market, because my duty is to help you get ready to win. If you have not joined me before, I am Miss J. I am a coach. I'm an entrepreneur of a company called the Illumine Group, and I do coaching, training, and HR services for small businesses. But I work one-on-one and in groups with individuals who are ready to move and elevate to their next step. So I am an accountability partner and a coach that's focused on success and growth and new levels. So feel free to reach out to me. You can get in touch with me at any point in time by sending me an email at hello@missj.com or reaching out to my website, theillumingroup.com. So I just I'm going to check something really quickly to make sure that everything is functioning properly on the YouTube, and it looks like it is. So this is only my second live with YouTube. If you've been joining me, I've been doing this in Facebook, so feel free to follow my Facebook page. Is I am Miss J. You'll see a lot of my prior videos on that page as well. But we're going to go ahead and get started because it's Saturday morning and I have a lot of things to do. I am just going to go ahead and get us started. If you are joining me live, if you happen to catch this live, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment into the chat. I will be able to pick those up while we are live. And so I will answer anything that comes through at this point in time. If you're watching it on replay, again, I've given you my email address, and I will also give you my email address later at the end of the close so that you can get in touch with me at any time. All right. So on site, you never get a second time to make a first impression. And so we want to make sure that in your job search, in your next step, your level up, you are ready to make sure that you have and are serving everything that reflects you in a manner that makes you feel good, confident, strong, and ready to conquer whatever is next in your interview / job attainment process. Because I'm just going to say, you're going to get it, especially if you're prepared. Everything is possible once you have preparation and, a little dose of confidence on your side. So I have a couple of slides as I have started in this series that I'm going to go ahead and share with you. And I want to make sure that you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead over and transition to the slide sharing deck, and you will be able to see the cover page for this. So we are going to be talking about what to wear, what to do, what to say. And I'm sure you are probably thinking that you're probably going to give me the same old advice, but I'm not going to give you the same old advice, because it is important for me to make sure that you understand that when making a first impression, you want to make sure that you are aligned with your personal brand. And your personal brand is going to be something that is 100% true to you. It cannot be dictated by, tradition, so to say, but we want to make sure that we can integrate all of those things into a manner that, number one, comes across sending the message that you want to send, and number two, it communicates and helps you to communicate more effectively why you are the right fit for the role that you are pursuing. So, getting dressed for an interview. You know, people think that this is a whole to-do. You might want to get styled. You need to go buy a new suit, a new dress, a new pair of shoes, etc. That isn't necessarily have to be the case. You can use the elements that are in your own closet to fit the situation, but the whole goal is to make sure that you are fitting the situation that is going to be presenting itself. So I'm not going to say that you have to have a black dress, heels and pearls, or a suit. What I am going to say is that your style must be authentic to you. It must reflect the aspirations that you are trying to achieve, and it should be aligned with the organization in which you are going to be communicating with, because you want to make sure, again, that you are saying, hey, I am your guy or I am your lady. So authentic, aspirational, and aligned. Another thing that I wanted to say, if you've ever heard the saying that you need to dress for where you're going, or dress for the role that you want and not necessarily the role that you have, that is more in line with the aspirational part of dictating your style. If you want to be the CEO, you need to look the part of the CEO. You can't look the part of a blue collar worker. If you are going to be that, go ahead and project that so that people can begin to visualize and see you in that space without any second thought. So you're just basically going to go ahead and serve up what you are trying to attain, and that's the aspirational part of dressing. So this slideshow definitely does not have a whole lot of content saying outfit of the day, style boards, etc. I'm going to give you some general tips based on the places that you may find yourself. And so we're going to talk about the alignment piece, and then how you weave in the authenticity into the outfits that you choose for each setting, because setting is important. What you don't want to do is to show up looking out of place, and everyone walking down the hallway is like, oh, this person must be here for the interview. In some places you're going to do that, but in some places you want to go ahead and make sure that your style is more indicative of your fit with the company. So the more you look like them, the more that they can see you as a part of the team already. It's just like what they do with in real estate. In real estate, they can open up a house and it can be 100% empty. You have to use your imagination to figure out if this is a place that you want to purchase. Is it a place that you want to raise your family, live in, make your space? However, some choose to stage the space. And what they do is they go in and they put in the major pieces of furniture, art, accessories, etc., so that when you walk in, you automatically feel like you're home. You automatically can see the things that is going to make this house the right fit for you. And so that presentation usually ends up with them closing the deal a lot faster, because they close the gap between imagination and reality. Now, when you think about that in your career pursuit, what you want to do is basically set the scene. Make sure you're aligned, but also don't completely throw yourself and your personal style out of the way. You want to make sure that you do include things that are very authentic to you in the way that you show up. So let's get into setting number one. And these are going to be images of where you might find yourself. So I'm going to talk about this in a non-COVID world. I'm not taking the pandemic into consideration, because we are in a very interesting situation right now. However, if this information is going to be timeless, I want to place it in a time or a setting in which we are responding how we would have normally responded. So the setting that you see right now is considered a job fair, or a recruitment fair, whatever the case may be. And in this setting, you're going to show up with tons of other people that are all looking to speak with representatives, maybe from one company or from multiple companies that may be represented. So you'll have a panel of interviewers. You might get to see 6 or 7 people within that day, depending on if you are going to be having 15, 30-minute interviews, etc. Typically with the job fair, you're going to sign up for those slots in advance. And so you should know how many people you're meeting, unless it's an open call. If it's an open call, then you're basically going to roam around a convention center, a space, a hotel, hall, whatever the case may be, and connect with representatives based on your personal interests. And they'll tell you a little bit about what they're hiring for, and see if there's a match. But how you present yourself in that space is going to be very, again, crucial in how you set your first impression. So as you see, these ladies are on the left-hand side, or the outside where you see the purse, etc. They are business casual. Depending on who's hosting the job fair, the type of employers that are at the job fair, you want to base your outfit on that, or the type of roles that you're seeking. Again, the aspirational aspect of it. If you are seeking a mid-management role or entry-level management role, you might want to do a jacket, but you definitely want to make sure that you have on colorful clothes. Don't show up in a pink suit. Okay. Don't show up in a polka dotted, pantsuit with flowers and bows. You want to make sure that you blend in enough that you aren't the eyesore or the point of conversation between everyone. Did you see? Did you see? We don't want to be that person, but we want to make sure that we are as in the middle as possible, with slacks or a jacket or a dress that is more traditional. But then you want to add the accessories that are going to make it more yours. So feel free to add colorful accessories. Feel free to add a shirt that has a little more color. But the majority of what you're going to be doing, you want to make sure that you kind of blend in so that you can stand out with resume and personality, but not necessarily be the walking visual where everyone's trying to catch a glance of you. So don't be too formal in this environment, because it is only your first step, maybe your introductory step, and definitely don't be too casual. So you want to kind of play it right there in the middle, but personalize it again with some of your favorite colors in the shirt, etc. Maybe on the shoes, if you're a female, or the accessories. Maybe a scarf will do, something of that nature that just gives you a little bit of pop, but not necessarily a complete, like, oh my goodness. We don't want an oh my goodness moment in this setting. We want the oh my goodness to be your resume, or to be your interaction with the recruiter. If you are, and I wanted to make sure I covered everybody here, this is for every type of employee. If you are going to be working or seeking an opportunity in manufacturing or blue collar work, where you're going to be hands-on, potentially in a uniform, or a very casual role where you're going to be wearing maybe jeans, t-shirts, safety boots, etc. on a day-to-day basis, I definitely don't want you to go to your interview in a suit. Please do not wear a 3-piece suit, or if you're a female, a 2-piece suit to an interview, because there is no alignment there. If you are going to be interviewing for a role that is similar to this, let me tell you, the magic is going to be just to put on a button-up shirt. Whether that is paired with jeans or with khakis is going to be your preference. And definitely do not wear sneakers. You want to wear closed toe shoes, because you may get a a tour of the facility, and you want to make sure that you can walk around those spaces safely. If you are female in this category, you definitely do not want to be wearing heels or something with a slick bottom, because you don't know if they're going to take you into these spaces so that you can see and get a visual of the work that you would potentially be doing. But a button-up shirt goes a long way, especially if it's crisp and ironed or pressed. It shows that you at least put forth some effort. Pair that with khakis, that would be a level up. Pair it with jeans, as long as they are not grungy, ripped, or too tight fitting, you'll be fine in this setting. So that would be my advice as a baseline for someone who is looking for this type of work. And that would also go for like restaurant. I would think a restaurant job would also work. If you're going to be doing retail, you might want to be a little more styled depending on the type of retailer that you're going to. So if you're going to a clothing retailer, you want to amp that up, but you don't necessarily have to go in a full-blown suit again. You want to make sure that you are right in the area that the job dictates. Now, if you are going to be working in a corporate environment and you're going into office buildings, this is where I would advise you to be a little more formal, or what we would consider traditional interview outfit. So at this time or this place is where you're going to put on a suit and a tie. This may also be where you're going to wear a dress or a skirt suit and some heels, because you want to fit the environment in which you're going. The key to this part, though, is to also make sure that you understand what the attire is for the organization. So if you have been called for an interview to come in, feel free to ask the question, what is the attire? And they'll let you know if it's formal, if it's business casual, etc., so that you can understand. You don't necessarily want to look 100% out of place, but you want to look at least, you don't want to look out of place on the positive end of way overdressed, or on the negative end so casual that you still stand out, but you want to be close to the middle, or a slight hair more stylish or more put together than the team that shows up there every day. So you would like to make sure, even if you're interviewing for a receptionist, an administrative support role in this type of environment, make sure you look the part. And I would say this is probably where you're going to be closest to the traditional interview attire, the things that we've all learned: skirt, slacks, suit, dress, etc. You pick what you're most comfortable in. Now, this is a new one for us because we are in the pandemic, and so there have been a lot of virtual interviews where people are asking you to join the meeting, join the interview, meet with the team from the comfort of your own home and in your virtual format on a computer. And so what you're going to do here is you still want to make sure you look like you are dressed, ready for the interview. And if you need to stand up, because who knows, they might just want to see if you're dressed from the top or the bottom, be ready for anything. So put on a full outfit, even if it is for the hour and a half that you are going to be interviewing. And so even though I have on a dress today and I'm virtual, this is a dress. It looks like a t-shirt because it's a t-shirt dress. I would never wear this to a virtual interview because it does not send the message that I want it to send. The message that I want to send is that I am polished and put together. So I would probably put on a collar, just so that they see. That collared shirt could be any color. It could be a pink one. It could be whatever, but it's going to be a collared shirt more than likely. And I would recommend that for male or female, or something that says I'm a little more dressed than a t-shirt. I wouldn't necessarily require you to wear a jacket unless it is an executive position. Then you can put on a jacket. But whatever you're doing, make sure your bottoms match. Because if they just happen to ask, sometimes being funny, to break the ice. So do you have on pajama bottoms for this role? If you want to stand up and show them that you're fully dressed, you could do that without feeling embarrassed, without feeling called out, etc. And then they will also be able to see that you have taken this opportunity seriously, and at least you prepared, regardless if you are doing it through a wireless internet connection or not. You took the time to get dressed, which means a lot. So I'm going to throw this one out here because you're probably thinking, what does a baseball field have to do with interviews? The higher the position that you are trying to attain, the breadth of interview options, of get to know you options, starts to open. It becomes greater. And so I have had individuals that I've worked with who've been invited to company social events to see if you fit with the team. Now, this event probably is going to be after a formal interview, but definitely before offer. And the goal here is to see, do you understand company culture? Do you fit with us, etc.? Can you get along? Are you fun? Are you able to network? Whatever the case may be. You may be invited to a social outing. That could be bowling. That could be a company dinner. That could be etc. That could be a baseball game, especially if they have like a corporate suite or something that they are using and there's an upcoming event. If you are invited to these things, you need to dress appropriately. Now, you're definitely not going to go to a baseball field with a whole suit on. You want to dress a step above a normal baseball game, because regardless of the setting, you are still interviewing. And again, you need to be matched to the aspirational part of what you're trying to do. So if you go to a baseball game on a Saturday with your family and you're going to have on jeans, t-shirt, and a baseball cap, or shorts, t-shirt, and a baseball cap, you might want to go ahead and put on jeans, a polo, and maybe keep your baseball cap of your favorite team. Maybe your polo or your button-up is the same color of your favorite baseball team. Maybe you have a branded polo type shirt that is with your favorite team. So you have some authentic flair in there, but you're also a step above what the average baseball fan is going to look like. Do that for all of the settings. You want to make sure that you are still presenting a polished and finished image, because you are being judged. Regardless if it feels like fun, you are still being sized up for how you fit with the team. So I want to make sure that you understand, don't go 100% casual here. This is not fun. These are not your friends. They are your potential colleagues and coworkers. So therefore, you want to treat the situation as such. Now, the business dinner. I mentioned this because we employ this with one of my major clients. We employ this tactic because it gives us an opportunity to see if the person can carry a casual conversation, especially if you are in sales and you're going to be in a position where you're going to be doing some business entertainment, being able to work with other corporate leaders or potential partners, etc. You're going to be able to have to demonstrate that you can have and handle yourself in a formal dinner. So they will take you to dinner, take you to lunch, etc., in order to assess that situation. Again, you are being interviewed. This is not dinner with your friends or with your family. It is not that casual. Your job is to make sure, again, that you dress the part. If it is post-interview, then you want to make sure that you're going to stay in your interview attire, but immediately post. So we're going to have the interview and then we're going to go to dinner. But if it is dinner, you arrive into this location, which this happens very frequently. You arrive to a location the night before. They want to take you to dinner, and then tomorrow you'll have your formal interview. When you get dressed to go to that dinner, make sure, again, you are dressing not fresh off the plane, not that casual. Make sure your clothes are pressed and ironed. Make sure that you are dressed aspirationally, but authentically. You're not going to go to that dinner in a suit. However, you want to make sure you're professional in some nature. If you are a male, a button up in khakis will work. You can leave it unbuttoned, doesn't have to be buttoned up to the neck. However, if you are a female, you want to make sure that you're putting on a blouse, etc., some slacks, something that says, I'm here, but I'm not all the way formal and I'm not too casual. Understand, again, this is a part of your interview. So treat it as such, dress as such. Now, this type of interview setting is a little bit different, and there's really only a couple of industries that employ group interviews. Typically, you're going to go into group interviews potentially if you're fresh out of college, but also if you are going to be working on a project team and you are going to be a part of a group that they're hiring to complete a project. So you're going to have to meet with, engage with other people. These may be people that you know. It may be people that you've brought in and that you've applied together. It may be people that you've worked together on future projects. But your responsibility and how you present yourself here is, number one, to be aspirational, slightly above your everyday work attire. So I definitely would go more kind of guy to the left with a brown jacket, because guy to the right with the gray jacket, it looks like he has a t-shirt collar, but you know, as I look a little closer, I think that's a sweater, which would work perfectly. These people are not in three-piece suits. They look casual, but they look put together enough to make them feel approachable, like a team player, and not like they're trying to lead. You want to make sure that you can show and demonstrate, even in your attire, that you are a team player and that you can work together with others without standing out as the natural born leader, quote unquote. Now, you may lead, however, you have to display the teamwork side of the personality for group or project interviews. Okay, dokie. Now, let me make sure I'm going to go back because I clicked too quickly. Just want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. So what are the don'ts? And I typically talking in more generalities around those scenarios, because there is not a strict formula for how you show up. However, we are in 2021. And so what they did in 1980 and 2001 is going to be slightly different, because fashion trends have changed. What's acceptable in workforces have changed, especially based on industry. So if you're going to be working in a startup or a tech industry, you're probably going to be a lot more casual. If you're going to be in a more traditional industry, you're probably going like banking, finance, stock market, etc. You're probably going to be in suits and ties every day. One of the things that you want to do is make sure that you understand what the dress code is and that you are properly aligned with whatever the company culture dictates. But there are some don'ts that I want you to be mindful of, because I don't want to just leave it wide open and you say, well, she didn't tell me to not do it, so maybe I'll do it. What you don't want to do, starting in this top left-hand corner, is put on every piece of jewelry that you ever owned. Well, that's kind of an exaggeration, but what you don't want to do is to put on jewelry that is going to be distracting, that is going to make a lot of noise. You don't want to have on a lot of bangles or things that clink. You don't want to be too flashy. You want to just make sure that you have on the things that are most that makes you feel comfortable, the things that you need, a watch. But this is not put on everything that I have or put on things that bring attention to me. You want to make sure that you monitor, you pair, and you edit your jewelry to complement your outfit, but not to do too much. Now, going down to this perfume or cologne bottle. Don't douse yourself in cologne or perfume prior to your interview. If you are going to do something, make sure that it is subtle and make sure it's only on like the wrist, potentially the neck. No one is going to be that close to smell you. So if you need to do that for yourself, feel free, but you should not walk into a room and everyone knows that you're there based on the scent. You want to make sure, because you are not aware if people have allergies. You're not aware of the spaces that you might be interviewing in, if it's a conference room or if it's a smaller office. And if your scent is so pervasive that it is that noticeable, people are going to be distracted. It might not be a scent that they prefer. And therefore now I have to, edit. I have to, try to cover this because I'm not necessarily listening to what you're saying. I'm smelling everything that's coming off of you. And so now I'm distracted and I can't focus on you. So make sure that you are doing it just for yourself. If you're going to do it at all, I would just say, make sure you're clean. Make sure that you smell fresh, and that is it. But I'm not a perfume lady, so, take that advice with a grain of salt if you are. Now, coming down to my bottom picture and of the man that is jogging across the space. Please make sure that you do not show up late to your interview. And that is because at this point in time, you're going to feel disheveled. You're going to feel potentially sweaty. Your body is going to start having a reaction to the stress that you are feeling from that tardiness. And now you are going to be out of whack when you show up for your interview. So make sure that you show up in a timely enough fashion to make sure that you're still put together, not to cause any of that stress, sweat, not to start to glisten, shimmer, and shine on your forehead, especially if you're a lady. You don't want to ruin the makeup that you have on. Hopefully it's not, glam makeup, but you don't want to ruin that. So make sure that you show up in a manner that allows you to make sure you are properly presented and you don't have to fidget, mess with your clothes because you've had to take a sprint down the street to get there. So be aware of your environment, how long it's going to take you to get to your location. So that you can arrive in a timely fashion. Now, I talked about the social aspects of some of those interviewing things, which means a social event, game, company event, etc., or dinner. You do not want to drink more alcohol than you should. Now, everyone has different tolerance levels. However, what I want you to be mindful of is the fact that it's a company dinner, and if you don't drink, don't feel pressure to drink. If you are a social drinker or if you drink every day, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you probably stick to one, or depending on the length of the event, maybe two. But don't do anything that is hard liquor, top shelf, etc. You need to be able to stay engaged, communicative, alert, and observing the things that are happening around you. You do not want to have your perception altered by anything that you have imbibed during your interview. So I'm not going to tell you not to drink, but I am going to say be careful, monitor, or limit your drinking to only one or two. That shows, hey, I can, drink with the guys, especially if you're in a drinking culture. The company is a drinking culture. I've worked for an organization where they drink at every event. And so you be mindful of how you monitor that. But again, if you are non-alcoholic beverage drinker, do not feel like you have to fit in. Just maybe opt for something that may be virgin, and only the waiter or server will know. The top right thing of this lady, beautiful lady who's sitting in the salon chair. What I do not want you to do, people, definitely don't go and try something new. Get a makeover, get a new haircut, get a new hair color, all of this stuff in preparation for your interview. You want to feel as comfortable as possible. You don't want to have to be worrying if this new haircut, hair color, whatever the case may be, if my makeover is coming across right. You want to make sure that you are as comfortable in your own skin and confident in how you are showing up, that you don't even have to worry about it. I don't want you to be worrying about your hair, fidgeting and fiddling with it. I don't want you to be worrying about anything else because I don't know if I look okay. So now I have to, make sure everything is right. Do not primp yourself, and you don't want to do anything that's going to harm the confidence that you have in how you show up. So of course, if don't try a new stylist. Don't go to a brand new person and be like, hey, I need to get ready for my interview. If you don't know their work and you don't know the final product that you're going to get, you don't want to do anything to lessen your self-confidence so that you can show up feeling 100% yourself, if not 110% ready for the interview. Oh, I'm still clicking backwards. Excuse me. It's a Saturday morning. All right. So what to bring on your interview? Don't show up empty-handed because you don't know what you're going to be doing. You don't know if they have given you instructions. Typically, if they want you to bring something specific, they will tell you that on the front end. So if you need to make a presentation, or if you need to take any type of assessment, if you need to bring a writing sample, whatever the case may be, they will ask you for that information in advance. However, if they don't tell you anything, this is the bare minimum of what you need to bring. And I will also tell you some things to exclude. So definitely bring copies of your resume. Why, Jay, do I have to bring copies of my resume? They've already seen it, etc. Well, you don't know what happens within the organization, who's coordinating the interview. You want to make sure, number one, the most important reason that you're going to bring your resume is that you want to make sure that you are seeing exactly what they're seeing. And so if someone has questions about something that you did or that you have documented, that you can go there and it creates a visual cue for what you wrote, and then you'll be able to tell your story around it. We talked about that in episode 1. We'll be talking about that again in episode 3, the building the stories. So make sure you have a resume copy, not only one for yourself to refer to, but maybe 1 or 2 more, so that anyone who shows up in your interview could have a copy if they need. Now, if you've made any changes from your resume from the time that you submitted it to the time that you showed up, you also want to make sure you bring more copies so that you guys are all looking at the exact same document. You don't want to be looking at a document that they are not looking at. So you're going to bring a padfolio. That's what's up in this top right hand corner. Bring a padfolio. It allows you to take notes. It's a pen. It allows you to store your resumes. It allows you to write down names of people and individuals that you are meeting with, in any other document, and to document any other things that you learn during your interview. It is a learning process because at the end of your interview, you have a decision to make as well. So make sure you have pencil, notepad. Padfolio is a great way to keep all of that stuff concise. You can get that at your local office supply store, maybe $20. It's an investment that'll be worth it. And I would recommend that for any level interview. Down in the bottom corner, you see a key fob. Make sure that you have just the car key that you need to get back into your vehicle. Do not come in here with a keychain that has 27 keys, a whistle, a pocket knife, hand sanitizer, a jingle bell, or whatever else attached to it. You do not need that. Honestly, you don't need your purse. You don't need your lipstick. You don't need your makeup case. You don't need anything. You're going to an interview. Everything that you need should fit into your padfolio. So take your automobile key, slide it into the pocket of your padfolio. That way you only have one thing to carry, because again, you don't know if they are going to take you on the tour, if they're going to move you from room to room. What you don't want to be doing is say, hold on, let me get my purse. Let me get my keys. Let me get my cell phone. The cell phone that you see is not even on this sheet. So do not bring your cell phone. You're not going to have an emergency in this office, but if you do, someone will be assisting you because you are a guest there. Someone will call the ambulance if you need it. However, everyone else that is potentially going to call your cell phone can wait until your interview is complete. So leave your cell phone in the car with your purse, with your other 7 million keys, with all of those gadgets that will just cause you to fumble. Take your key fob, put it into your portfolio, and streamline what you're bringing into that space. Do not, again, bring your cell phone. It is only a distraction. And if it happens to go off, you're going to be fidgeting, and you're going to be embarrassed, and you're going to lose where you are in your story. So don't do it. Just bring your key. And then the bottom corner, right. I am not necessarily telling you to bring a pair of sneakers. All right. So if you haven't been paying attention, I definitely need you to pay attention to this. What I am telling you is to make sure that you have comfortable shoes. Now, if that is a pair of high heels that you can walk 3 miles in, run if you need it, fantastic, wear those. But if you're going to be buying brand new shoes for your interview, you need to make sure you have those 2 or so weeks in advance so that you can break them in and get comfortable. Again, you might not be just going in to sit down. You might be taking a facility tour. You might be meeting other people. You might be asked to go to lunch. You may need to walk. So you want to make sure that what you're putting on your feet is comfortable enough so that you don't have to worry about the shoes, and that you'll be up for everything else that comes or potentially could happen in the interview. So whatever shoe that may be, make sure it's comfortable. And if it's not comfortable, don't wear it. You don't want to say, oh, I have another pair of shoes in my car, let me go get it. No, we don't have time to be waiting on you to do wardrobe changes. Come in 100% ready to go. Now, what to do? Top 3 things and what to do. Top 3. That's not 6, that's 3. Top 3 things that I want you to do when you show up is, number 1, make sure you have a smile. It is your best accessory. So make sure that you have a smile, carry it everywhere you go. You want to make sure that you are presenting your best self. No one wants to hire Grumpy Cat. No one wants to hire someone who has RBF. So make sure you bring your smile. It softens your face. It makes you look more inviting, more friendly, more approachable. Bring your smile with you. Greet everyone that you see. Now, I put a fist bump over here in the top right hand corner because we are pre-COVID, but this would be a handshake in normal times. Make sure that you are greeting everyone that you see from the parking lot on your way in and then on your way out, because your interview starts as soon as you pull up. The receptionist, the doorman, the janitorial staff, the elevator operator, the person doing security, whatever facility you find yourself in, you greet yourself. You make sure that you greet everyone that you see, whether with a fist bump, a handshake, a head nod. Acknowledge them, a smile. I see you. I notice you. I appreciate you. All of that. Make sure that you are doing that, because no one wants to work with someone who thinks that they are better than anyone else. So make sure that you are greeting everybody. You acknowledge them unless you are engaged in a conversation. But don't walk into a room or walk into a space where you are unengaged or just not engaged in conversation with someone, and do not greet those that are there. Okay. The bottom one is be engaging. Make sure that you aren't so nervous that you can only answer questions and sit there with sweaty palms in between. It is a conversation. So you have to make sure that you are ready to interact and converse with everyone that is going to be interacting with you. So be open, be engaging, be conversational, start up a conversation. If you have the opportunity to during, silent time or during transition time, ask regular people questions, getting to know you questions. Just that will help others feel comfortable, and that will also make you feel a little bit more comfortable because you aren't the only one on the hot seat. You do have some control into how you interact. So don't be, keep your mouth closed and don't say anything and just wait. Be engaging. And especially in those social situations, if you ever have a social version of an interview, an event, dinner, etc., you definitely need to make sure that you have your conversation starters and you understand how to carry on a conversation about almost any topic, because those are the areas that your conversation, how you interact with others, is going to be more telling and potentially have more influence on their assessment of you. So that is on site. Things that you do to be prepared in your dress and how you show up and how you make first impressions. Again, I am Ms. J. I do coaching for the Illumin Group. If you are interested in coaching or working with me in your career and your next career steps, the ability to level up your career, go to the next level, feel free to reach out to me. This is my work email address, janelle@illumin.group, and you can also send me a text. If you go to the website, www.illumin.group, you'll be able to select the contact form or a calendar invite so that we can get together and have a free consultation. No obligation. Tell me what you're looking for. If I can assist you, I will tell you what I can do to assist in your goal attainment. If not, what I'll do is I'll make a referral to you. So I'll be a resource for you regardless. All right. And again, I invite you to come back with me next Saturday and to see the part 3 of this Ready to Win series. We will be talking about the interview process, and not just like what to do to get started for the interview, but definitely, again, how to make sure that your interview goes as smoothly and as successfully as possible so that you can have, get what you need out of the interview. So I don't see any questions in the live stream, and I know that once this replay is on Facebook, that there may be some questions that are out there. Again, you can send me an email, either location, janelle@illumingroup.com or hello@missj.com, and you'll be able to contact me directly. If this is your first time watching Living and Leading with Ms. J, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me for this last however many minutes we've been here. I'd love it if you subscribe to my page. So click that. You'll get notifications on anything that I'm doing, especially when I'm live or other postings. Feel free to follow me on social media. My most active page is the I Am Ms. J page because, I'm getting older and busier, and social media is not necessarily where I flock to in my off time. However, I do post some content out there occasionally. So give me a follow, and it'll also give you an opportunity to be able to reach out to me via direct message, etc. You can book off of my Facebook page as well. So thank you so much for reaching out or for connecting with me. And I just hope that what I am giving you is beneficial to your next level. So you get this on the free, but my clients get this and so much more. I walk them through their process step by step, and we create a plan. We can do it all together because that's what I am, coach and accountability partner. So thank you so much for your Saturday. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And again, if you have any questions or needs, you know how to get in touch with me. I hope that your day is fantastic and that your goals are on the way to being achieved. Have a great one. Bye-bye.